Hello everybody, welcome to episode 7 of the Maximum Difficulty Career Mode playthrough. I'm going to get started off with doing a couple of contracts. We're going to get science from space around Kerbin and from the surface of the Mun. This should be pretty quick since we already did this in the last episode, and yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, there we go. Let's go ahead and set up the Mun encounter. It was a little early on that one. Maybe I'll... Nice. Alright. I'm coming in retrograde, but I don't think that makes too big of a deal. I do want to land somewhere different from last time, so... Okay, so last episode I was on the Highlands, so I'm going to try and get to the Midlands. I believe just anywhere over here should be fine. Don't want to land in a crater. That's usually harder to get out of. Alright, here we go. I don't know why the game went silent. This is kind of weird. Or the engine, specifically. I really hope this works. Nice. Yeah, we're in the Midlands, so that's good. Alright, and I can't forget to get the science from space around Kerbin. Okay, I'm just gonna burn into an ejection. We should be fine. There we go. Let's see where that puts me. Alright, can't forget to do that. Nice. Alright. That's successful. And we got 10 science points out of it. That's not bad. I really didn't get a whole lot of money, though. I'm only up like $300. Eesh. Could also do these really quick. So, yeah. God, if you guys could see how many fucking layers that was. So I think I'm just going to do this contract, and I'm going to see if that could potentially... Yeah, okay, so I'm going to test the ant engine. So just looking at the numbers, I'm not confident that this thing will be able to actually get the Science Junior to the surface of the Mun using that. So I'm just going to test the engine. Alright, cool. Aw. Okay, well, I got to land on the VAB, but I lost a fuel tank in the process. It's fine, though. I think I'm going to do this because it'll give me over 10,000 funds, which should offset the cost. Okay, and also, I think this is going to be the first time that I'm going to use a probe, because if I do this, it'll actually occlude the probe core, which I learned in testing, which is... I'm very surprised that that works. let's go ahead and burn out towards Minmus altitude regime. Saltine cracker style. Please don't run out of electricity. Alright. So now this is in orbit. It's in a really bad orbit, but it's in an orbit. And that means I can rendezvous with it. So let's go send up another craft. Yeah, so I can also do this. So I'll just send up a lander. Alright. Let's get started on this early morning launch here. Alright, very nice. Here we go. I will need to do a correction burn, but it's a pretty good time to eject. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and land on Minmus first because, yeah. Alright, so last time I landed on the lesser flats. This is the greater flats, so I'm going to go ahead and land here. There we go. Alright, I just have to go slightly southwest. Boom! Rendezvous. Where is it? Where is it? What? Well, I got the contract, so that's it for that. Alright, I went to brush my teeth. That's why I'm a little late coming back. Alright. 12.5 science and up to 140k. Getting real close. Ooh, spark engine. Oh, the spark engine. I'm gonna accept this one because it's test while splashed. It's basically free money, but oh, wait a minute. I have 50 science points. Hold on. I can unlock something. Yeah, you know what? I really don't need this, so I'm gonna keep saving for now. Alright, so some testing revealed that I wouldn't be able to go anywhere interesting within the time limit of the contract with the spark engine, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do the contract. Alright, so like for the next 30 minutes or so, I did contracts and was absolutely dead silent the entire time. So there's absolutely no content for me to get out of this, so just enjoy this horrible epileptic fast forward of everything that I did. Alright, here we go. I'm going to do this contract. And I need to do it on a budget somehow.
I am placing tanks and shit because it's fucking KSP.
Alright, so I tried to get it to work using solid rocket boosters instead of the Reliant Thud combo that I got going on. And although it was a few thousand funds cheaper, it really couldn't get me close enough to an orbit where the Terrier would have enough Delta V after circularizing that I could go to the Mun. So I kind of have to abandon that approach. This craft is just under 10,000 funds, which I think this contract will give more than, but it's still disappointing. Yeah, okay, so that's interesting. I actually have more Delta V packed into this Terrier stage than in the SRB rocket that I was testing, which really goes to show, I guess, that, like, yeah, I really need to focus on getting tech for the rockets to be reusable. Because at that point, what I had done in the past was I made an SSTO that could carry like 2 tons into orbit. and then deorbit it with like a probe core. And that was great because most of the cost of the mission was in that booster stage, and it was able to like recover a lot of the cost of the mission. All right, that was a very beautiful gravity turn. Started the burn a little late. I'm going to do 11 kilometers for the apoapsis. Ah, okay. I overshot it. I'm going to try to land in this crater over here. Nice. All right. Successful landing. East far side crater. So I'm going to go ahead and return to Kerbin now. All right, there we go. All right, that looks good. Raise that up a little bit. Not a whole lot of delta V, but it'll work. Man, I don't know what's up with the with those sounds, but wow, they are going crazy right now. I really wish I was slowing down just a little bit faster. Opening the cargo bay is going to incur pretty ridiculous G's. All right, open, close. All right, that worked. So that worked. Parachutes. All right, we're close enough to KSC. That's fine. That's acceptable. Map. Very nice. All right, 10 science points. That's not too bad at all. And we're up a few thousand funds. That's great. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and do a couple more of these test part contract. All right. That was easy. Honestly, I think that this contract here is a bit better than I'm giving it credit for. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do it. And then I'm also going to test the stability enhancer, because I can just recover that after the fact. Alright, so I built this thing. It'll get the job done, I'm sure. I tried to do it with a probe core at first, but I forgot that I can't even use stability assist with the probe cores, so I stopped very quickly since it would just be super annoying. Alright, there we go. Now let's find the mun. Alright, that'll work. And now I just have to wait. Oh, bullseye. Okay, and now let's do that temperature scan. Where's the thermometer? Dog, I know it's in here. I offset it. What do you mean it's not in here? Oh my god, I know what happened. Fuck. It was attached to one of the fuel tanks, and when I took the fuel tank off, it... Alright, there we go. Now I just gotta wait to get in the zone. Alright, that's 1. Alright, that's 2. And that's 3. Let's go claim that moolah. Alright, this is actually perfect. I came back, and I'm checking my contracts again. And would you look at that? Space around Kerbin and space around the mun. I have the capabilities of doing both of those things right now with the current craft that I have up there. It's just actually free money. Alright, this trajectory is going to be kind of whack. So I forgot to do the crew report from space around Kerbin, so I'm just really hoping that the low drag mode of this craft will make it back into space. All right, I think we're in the clear. All right, perfect. Take the crew report. Space near Kerbin. All right. That was stress inducing. Perfect. All right. It's a whole lot of money coming in from that one. All right. Nice, nice. We need less than 10,000 more. All right. Come on. What? How is this one giving so much money? Space around and space from the surface of Minmus, I can do this 100%. Alright, I'm just going to use my Munlander for the Minmus mission because I'm lazy and I don't want to have to deal with, like, fuel. Alright, so let's go ahead and do this temperature scan. Alright, Great Flats. There we go. Alright, beautiful. Boom! Boom! 190k! If I do upgrade it, I'm only going to have 3 grand left, so I'm going to do one more thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to accept this contract here because it gives a very significant advance. And then I'm going to go ahead and finally upgrade our first building of this playthrough, the Astronaut Complex. And it's just going to be great. We're going to get a whole lot of stuff done, but I'm out of time for this episode. I've been recording for almost 2 hours now, not counting the previous recording session that I had to do. Real quick, I'd just like to say sorry for being late on this upload. I've had a pretty crazy past couple weeks, but hopefully I'm going to be able to resume the regular schedule of uploads. Finals are coming up pretty soon, and after that, I'm not entirely sure what the series is going to look like because I tend not to do a whole lot of voiceover stuff over the summer, but it is what it is. I'm going to keep playing the game. I'm going to try to get as many episodes out of this as I can. And I hope you guys are still enjoying. We're making big progress. We're finally going to be able to get some significant science from Minmus. And yeah, we're progressing by leaps and bounds. And I hope to catch you guys in the next one. Have a good day. See ya.